Hello, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Channel. You've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashears, the Bass Brothers, and we are live from the Nashville Superspeedway, home of concrete, country music, and tonight, the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. Caleb, we're back from Indianapolis. We managed to survive, I think. Talk to me about Nashville, though, in a Grand National car. What's that going to be like tonight, my friend?
Well, even though this track is called Nashville Superspeedway, it's not. It does not act like one as such. This thing is more like a short track, in all honesty. It handles a lot closer to maybe like a Milwaukee in a sense. You know, it kind of understeers a lot on entry, and it kind of sets up really nicely on the exit with the throttle control you have. It's not completely, it's kind of like a bank Milwaukee more so than it is per se a mile and a half, which this track is a mile and a third. But it handles a lot closer to a short track type like a Milwaukee or a Gateway even than it is what you kind of expect here with it being called Nashville Superspeedway.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those in-betweeners. It's about the same length, Caleb, is Darlington, South Carolina, 1.330 miles. 14 degrees of banking in each corner, 9 degrees of banking on the front stretch, 6 on the back. The distance is somewhat disputed. NASCAR measures it at 1.330 miles, and that's what we're going to go with. IndyCar has the track at 1.333 miles, and that's what they measure it out. Just different methodologies. The track was not without controversy. It was originally announced in 1997 by Dover Downs Entertainment, then known as Dover Motorsports, same people that owned Dover Downs, Memphis Motorsports Park, Gateway, and Nashville was to be their crown jewel. The track was always conceived in concrete. It has never been paved in asphalt, and it does have it is kind of tricky, Caleb, because of that. It is by far the fastest concrete track that NASCAR or IndyCar visits. In 1999, it broke ground. It was opened in 2001. And with the closure of Memphis Motorsports Park, it had a truck race pretty early on. Played host to the Indy Cars on July 21st, 2021. Buddy Lazier won that race, but both weekends did not see a sellout crowd. The track only has seating capacity for really about 35,000 fans, and that's why it was not on the Cup schedule for very long. The footers are poured to make that main grandstand, Caleb, go all the way down from the exit of Turn 4 all the way toward the entrance of Turn 1. But they didn't ever complete it because they don't need them. This track does draw particularly well for open wheel cars. As a matter of fact, although it didn't sell out that first iteration, it was known for a long time as one of the stalwarts on the IndyCar schedule. And the reason for that being, this track did have massive support from Bridgestone Firestone. There's a Bridgestone factory not too far away from here. And so this turned into basically a Firestone company outing for many years. Of course, the Indianapolis cars left. NASCAR Cup came back. They've raced here since NASCAR Cup came. They've been here since 2021. The Indy cars are back in their traditional late summer, early fall date. And really the winners list here reads, it reads like a who's who. The track is not, though, in Nashville. Caleb, you've ever been here?
I have not, Murph. I've never been here.
It is actually in Lebanon, Tennessee. We drove by it coming home from Florida on our way back, and it is because there was a traffic blockage in the interstate in Nashville, and it is not the easiest place to get to. And there have been significant public roadworks trying to make this place easier to access because it is not the easiest place to get through. Matter of fact, we went through Lebanon and barely figured out how to get there. This track has seen it all, man. They've had major events here. At one point, it was abandoned because it was $21 million in debt. It was eventually purchased by Speedway Motorsports, the same people that own Charlotte, Bristol, Atlanta, and so on. And it's come back to life. The track record here outright is held by Sam Hornish Jr. 22.968. That was in a Dallara IRO2 in the 2003 Firestone Indy 200. The NASCAR Grand National record, Justin Allgaier 30.792, and that was set last year in the Tennessee Lottery 250. So there you go. Past winners on the open wheel side here, I mentioned it's kind of a who's who. Buddy Lazier, Indianapolis 500 winners. Gilles de Ferran, Tony Kanaan, Dario Franchitti. Scott Dixon is the only person to have won here on multiple occasions. He won 3 in a row from 2006 to 2008. Colton Herta, Joseph Newgarden have also won a race here in the open wheel side. On the NASCAR side, for the Cup Series, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney are the winners in the race that's now dubbed the Cracker Barrel 400. For the open wheel stuff, they call it the Berchetta Bourbon 400 now, Caleb. And that does sound good, a bourbon, doesn't it?
I love me some good bourbon, Murph. We had some over in Indianapolis. Unfortunately, you didn't get to have any there, but we talked about, this track is kind of like a unique history to where it was up until very recently abandoned, and now it just seems like it's got a lot of hype around it, with Nashville kind of booming in the motorsports side of things in North America, both IndyCar and NASCAR coming back to the Speedway, as you said, and it's really allowed some interesting situations, some interesting races on both sides of the open wheel and the stock car side.
Yeah, it has. This track is, like you say, very unique. It's almost like a banked Milwaukee would be the best way to describe driving it. Trouble areas to watch out for: the turn 2 wall. That corner exit is very narrow, reminiscent of the exit of turn 2 at Darlington, where the wall just kind of wants to jump up and grab you. And you're carrying so much speed through there that, just like Dover, just like that backside at Darlington, there are no small impacts here. It is very, very rough if you hit something. And lastly, you have to bring up the track is concrete and it can chew through tires. This track surface does not take rubber very well. And so for much of the race, it can be one groove, maybe a groove and a half. And it is very difficult to get a pass done. Even though it's rather wide, Caleb, it can be difficult to make a pass here at Nashville.
Yeah, the concrete doesn't really aid that at all that much. Like I said earlier, the Grand National cars, the stock cars that go around here, it feels very, very tight on entry and then loosens up about midway through the corner. And you really don't, these straightaways, while they do look kind of long, they don't feel that long when you're actually driving them. So you don't really get the greatest runs out of the corners because of how much you slow up in the middle of them.
No, you don't. It's kind of an odd track to drive. The man who's mastered that oddness right now, Ryan O'Donoghue, his quick time 156.159. The time 30.661. And that's just a touch faster than Justin Allgaier's Grand National track record here. Again, 30.792 is the mark to shoot for. Both Ryan O'Donoghue, Greg Evans, so too Franco Alvarez, and Kendall Paul actually equaled the track record here in these cars. So the top four all at or below the track record. Sam Crow in fifth, just shy with a 30.812. So we're seeing some fast speeds. This is also, Caleb, going to transition from a day to a night race. So at the end, this place is going to have maximum amount of grip. It's going to be cool. Should be fun to watch. The rules tonight: stages at 45 and 90, 188 laps total. And they will have 3 sets of sticker tires on the pit lane, Caleb, as we get ready to get down to qualifying for the Simshop Pole Award here at Nashville. As the session times out, we get ready to go on to qualifications. The driver that we're going to ride along with is going to be Ryan O'Donohue for this qualifying session. And the reason that we want to do that is I want to get, well, let's do Troy Carricker instead. Here goes Troy. He's pretty quick. This is out the helmet of Troy Carricker. Now you were telling me something, Caleb, about this pit exit earlier as well.
Yeah, this pit exit is very, very slick. We talk about how slick a concrete surface is. Well, basically triple that on the pit exit here at Nashville. It doesn't want to grip up at all, and you have to be very, very gentle with your inputs going through pit exit. I would not be surprised if we see a couple cars spin off if we get some green flag pit stops in the third stage. But on board with Troy Carricker, you kind of see him riding that a little bit higher than that yellow line, trying to carry as much speed as possible. We do reckon the second lap will be the go lap here. So Troy Carricker, let's see if he runs about middle, trying to carry as much speed as possible to line up for his second lap, which is going to be his hot one.
Here he comes off of turn number 4, down across the start-finish line. Troy Carricker, first lap, 31.311. The speed, 152.917 miles an hour. That's going to be good for third quick, but that's not the money lap. This one is. You see the car kind of slip up a little bit. Coming off of turn number 2, he had to make a fast correction. That's going to cost him just a little bit of time. And here goes Carricker down into turns 3 and 4. Not on the white line. That is not the fast way around here, Caleb.
Now, he kind of missed 3 and 4 going through that lap time. He was only able to go a 10th quicker, a 31.2. It's a little bit off pace. Vance Fisher currently a 31.0, but there are still some quick drivers that have yet to go.
There are. Vance Fisher jumps up to the top spot. Brian Sharp parks himself in second. Watching David Dunwoody now as he makes his run. We'll go from outside. Dunwoody working lap 1, and he is all the way. He's not even trying to hit the bottom, Caleb. He is all the way to the middle high side of the Nashville Superspeedway, down the backstretch into turn number 3. He's going to come back toward us, and really for Dunwoody, into the wall a little bit there maybe. But he's way high, and that's all about building momentum for the second lap, Caleb.
Yes, it is. He's going to cut it down hard, almost going to touch the yellow line that's on the bottom here. That is the fastest way around here. It gets really, really close. Nice and tidy here for Dunwoody. He gets off of corner number 2. A little bit slow on exit. We'll see how he does in 3 and 4. Again, getting to the bottom of the corner, understeers a little bit, is about half a lane up from that yellow line. We'll see what lap time he's able to do here. Goes to the apron on his second lap, and that is going to put him 4th overall in queue here so far, 31.013 for Dunwoody.
It does. We'll move along to Sam Crow. Dunwoody, 4th quick, 31.013. The speed, 154.387. And thus far, we have not seen anybody better that track record of 30.772. Ryan O'Donohue went 2nd quick. Franco Alvarez on the provisional pole. We're watching Sam Crow now as Greg Evans goes to third on the board. Watching Sam Crow, the track may have slowed down just a little bit from practice, Caleb. Right now, the weather out there, 79 in the air, 96 on the track. Winds out of the south at 10, 11 miles an hour. It's mostly cloudy. But the practice session here was in the morning, so it was a few degrees cooler, and that's going to be affecting these cars as well.
Yes, it will indeed. And you kind of see Sam Crow. He's gaining it seems like there is a lot of understeer at the moment in these Grand National cars. You see him come across the line. That's quick enough to put him on pole position at the moment.
Sam Crow.
What a lap from Sam.
At a Tiger, Sam Crow, 30.828. That will move him into the pole position. Greg Evans, 30.840 will demote Alvarez and O'Donohue back to row 2. And at this point, Caleb, we don't have anybody else that is willing to take time here as you see Sam Crow come back into the pit area. Several cars electing to not take time. Mark Paget, Say Lewis Hayes, Randy Dunlap, Ted Craven among them. But there's the red flag, and we're going to have a starting grid, Caleb. On the Simshop poll, it's going to be not Kendall Paul. It's going to be Sam Crow, 151.870 miles an hour. Greg Evans will be alongside Franco Alvarez, Ryan O'Donohue make up row 2, and then Trevor Ryan is going to be followed by James Hodgson in row 3. David Dunwoody, Joshua Zorn make up row 4. John Hutchins and Vance Fisher will start 9th and 10th, and Vance Fisher has his fans in the stands. They're cheering for him already. In 11th, it's going to be Kendall Paul. He'll be followed by Brian Sharp, Crash Neon, Troy Carricker, and Daryl Zucchelli through 15th. Donald Green will start 16th outside of row 13, or outside of row 8. Ryan DeMolin, Mark Paget make up row 9. Let's say Lewis Hayes and Mike Rigney. They'll go from 19th and 20th. None of those cars in back of Mark Paget took time in the qualifying session. Ted Craven, the Teddy Bear, 21st. Eric Corder, 22nd. Christopher Logan, 23rd. Randy Dunlap and Barry Seaman will round out the field as we get ready to roll away for 188 laps here at the Nashville Superspeedway. It's very odd that you would see Sam Crow, and full marks to him. He wins the Simshop Pole Award, but full marks to Sam Crow. That's not a car that you would expect to see on a pole position, Caleb. He's more known for his long run speed and his patience. Sam Crow parks the number 8 on the pole, and he's got his teammate Greg Evans to his outside. And let's watch and see if those two can coordinate and see if they can't get Ryan O'Donohue up into the 3rd spot and keep Greg Evans 2nd. That would be the dream, because it is, again, very difficult to pass here at Nashville. Pace cars ready to duck on off, and we are going to see the green flag from Barney. It's up, it's in the air. Cars are in the restart zone, and we are underway here at Nashville.
You'd see Greg Evans on the outside. He got a really, really good jump over his teammate Sam Crow on the bottom, but Sam having that bottom line, we'll see if he's able to clear Greg Evans off of turn number 2. Yes, he does. Franco Alvarez is now to the inside of Greg Evans, trying to fight for that 2nd spot, but Greg has the run on the high side, but Franco Alvarez just flies on by going to turn number 3.
He does indeed. So it's going to be Franco Alvarez as your 2nd place runner to Sam Crow. He's going to split up those DVD Motorsports teammates. It's DVD 1, 3, and 4. They've got Franco Alvarez in the middle. James Hodgson and Trevor Ryan, well, they're having a dispute for 5th. Trevor Ryan's going to have that spot. Maybe, maybe not. David Dunwoody is the interested party behind them.
Yeah, Trevor Ryan showing a lot of race pace earlier on, able to get around back around James Hodgson. He started from the 5th position, is now back in the 5th position. But Trevor Ryan looking for some redemption for how the last couple of races have went for him. He's had some unfortunate luck for him. He's right inside the top 5 early on in this race. He is looking to keep this momentum forward.
He is riding on board David Dunwoody. He's got John Houchins and Kendall Paul in hot pursuit. Does David Dunwoody will get jumped back outside of his machine, because we are about to have a battle for the lead. Franco Alvarez all over the back of Sam Crow.
You can see Franco Alvarez really lunging in into the braking zone of both ends of the racetrack. He kind of drops back on exit, though, but you can see how much that gap is ebb and flowing due to the different racing lines of Sam Crow, Franco Alvarez, and Greg Evans. It seems like he's fallen into the clutches a little bit of Greg Evans and Ryan O'Donoghue, just a little bit, but I guarantee you those two will try to work together and try to get up there with their teammate Sam Crow.
Yeah, these front four have really kind of split away from Trevor Ryan a little bit in fifth. They've got about 3 to 4 tenths of a second in hand over Trevor Ryan as he tries to bridge that gap. James Hodgson, 6th, David Dunwoody, 7th. And really the entire field now has strung out single file, Caleb.
Yes, it is indeed. And a lot of these guys, this track, like many others, these intermediate tracks will say, do chew up tires, and especially with the concrete surface around here at Nashville, it's very hard to get, a decent run on the outside line or to make the outside line even work remotely. So you kind of have to just get a really good run on the exit corners and try to get alongside going down the straightaways to make it pass here.
Yeah, it is difficult. You see Franco Alvarez, he started to work that high entry and low exit any way that he can to get a little bit of an advantage on Sam Crow, but it's not going to work at the line. He is a little bit teensy quicker. We're talking about 53 thousandths of a second, so not a lot, but Franco Alvarez trying to close that gap on Sam Crow. The problem for him is what's he going to do when he gets there? He's there now. Alvarez to the inside will make a bid for the lead.
Turn number 4 now, Sam Crow falls into the clutches of his two teammates, Greg Evans and Ryan O'Donoghue. Sam Crow has one win on the season. Franco Alvarez has not won yet, but he's been very, very strong here in the Grand National Series. We'll see if he's able to pull away and try to get his first win here.
We'll see indeed. Franco Alvarez is driven away from Sam Crow. Alvarez has now opened it up to a 0.2 of a second advantage. That equates to about 2 to 3 car lengths. Meanwhile, Greg Evans and Ryan O'Donoghue continue to be in hot pursuit, but there is a battle back a little bit further. James Hodgson, David Dunwoody, John Houchins, Kendall Paul, they've joined this front pack, and they are all over one another for everything from P5 back to about 9th.
Yeah, last time around, Trevor Ryan was all over the back bumper of Ryan O'Donoghue. He had to check up a little bit coming off turn number 4, and that kind of allowed the likes of Dunwoody and Hodgins and the rest of the top 10 to close that gap a little bit to get in this lead battle here. And it seems like Trevor Ryan is maintaining pace with the top 4 at the moment, if not being quicker than them. So we'll see if he's able to make any moves here over the course of this first stage.
We'll see. We'll jump up in the drone cam. Thank you so much to Whiplash Sim Cams for these incredible pictures that we're seeing from the virtual Nashville Superspeedway. You're watching the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series live on P1. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. We're 11 laps down of 188. The action at the front, well, Franco Alvarez made the pass on Sam Crow. He pulled out to about 0.3 of a second of a lead. Sam Crow, though, is not going away, and they have started to inch away from Greg Evans in third. The best battle on the track, though, continues to be back here around Trevor Ryan, James Hodgson, and they've pulled up on Ryan O'Donoghue now for that 4th spot.
Yes, they have indeed. A little bit further back in the background, you saw Kendall Paul get around John Hotchins to slot himself up into the 9th place position, or the 8th place position, excuse me. But Trevor Ryan has been hounding Ryan O'Donoghue, but he is struggling to get a run on the exit of the corners. It seems like he is better in the entry and the middle of the corners, but Ryan able to get a better exit. Now, right behind him, it looks like David Dunwoody had a look up the inside, not able to get alongside Hodgson as he actually blinks there. Hopefully that's not going to be a continuous problem for Hodgson. Hopefully his internet is able to stay put here.
we'll see. Greg Evans, Ryan O'Donohue have really started to fall off the back of Sam Crow and Franco Alvarez now, almost half a second, and I can sense that Evans and O'Donohue might be holding up progress. Is this a situation? As you see Kendall Paul drop to the bottom, he's looking on David Dunwoody for seventh spot. Is this a situation where those guys might be saving fuel, Caleb, or saving tires rather, saving tires, not fuel, tires?
I think that's definitely in the situation. We see the likes of Greg Evans. Pretty much every single race he enters, he's immediately in tire save mode no matter what happens. And you see him, in the first 10, 15 laps of whether it be a restart or the initial start, drop back just a little bit, let the leaders fight it out, and then about lap 15 to 20, that's when you start to see Greg Evans start to pounce on the leaders. But he hasn't. It is lap 15 now, and he hasn't really been able to maintain that same pace of Sam Crow and Franco Alvarez. We do see those guys. They are quick around here. Franco Alvarez really good over the short run, but kind of struggles a little bit on the long run. Sam Crow usually good on the long run. So we'll see if Greg Evans is able to bridge that gap here across stage number 1. Trevor Ryan, big send on Ryan O'Donohue in front of him.
Yeah, we're watching from the roll bar of Kendall Paul. We're watching from the roof cam on Kendall Paul. You saw the massive lunge from Trevor Ryan. He'll get into the 4th spot, move Ryan O'Donohue back to 5th. David Dunwoody is working all over James Hodgson as we ride along with Kendall Paul, anywhere from between 125 and about 170 miles an hour around this Nashville Superspeedway. Dunwoody and Hodgson are locked into it. They cannot get this done. Dunwoody, I thought, might have had it there, but no dice, Caleb. Now he goes through.
Now he goes through, able to clear on the bottom there. Now they go back to being single file, and now it looks like Dunwoody might be slightly quicker than O'Donohue in front. He is kind of gaining on him a little bit, but it's kind of maintaining the gap, but he has to still worry about James Hodgson right behind him. And not only that, Kendall Paul, who has already moved himself up a couple positions since the initial start.
Yeah, I mean, David Dunwoody is trying to get away as Kendall Paul drives his number 78 Ford Mustang Dark Horse to the bottom of James Hodgson. Those are 3 teammates right in a row there, Kendall Paul, Hodgson, and John Houchins. And Houchins looks like he might try to jump to the middle there, make it 3 wide. He had designs on that. Meanwhile, Joshua Zorn might have the best seat in all of Nashville for this action. Let's jump on board Joshua Zorn as he heads to the inside of John Houchins, and just in one move, he might make it to the inside of Hodgson too. He's not going to, but Joshua Zorn's going to try to break up that teammate parade, and there goes Zorn to the inside, Houchins to the outside. That's Vance Fisher, and Crash Neon has crept into the picture too. Positions 1 through 12, all right in a line, Caleb.
Yeah, Joshua Zorn dropped a few places on the initial start. He's trying to climb his back up into the top 8 here. That's where he started. Currently in 10th, but he has had good results here in the AMA over the course of the season. He actually won the race in Texas over an incredible battle with the likes of Logan Edwards and so on in the, or not Logan Edwards, excuse me, that was in the truck race. But he's had good results in the Grand National Series. He's had a couple good results fall away from him, getting himself into a couple of incidents. Not his fault, though, just getting caught up in some accidents that he couldn't avoid. But he's trying to catch back up to the leaders here, but he has the likes of the teammate trio of Hodgson, Hutchins, and Kendall Paul to try to get around.
He does. Now, as I mentioned, there are 2 distinct groups here, Caleb. The front 12 are about 2 seconds ahead of this group. That's led by Troy Carricker in 13th. He's got Mike Rigney in the John Van Varela Special behind him in 14th. And then the number 22 of Mark Paget in 15th. Those 3 are right together. Behind them is Brian Sharp. Sharp runs along in the 16th spot. I talked to Brian earlier. I think he just wants to finish one of these things. Keep the cartoon anvils away from that 125. He just wants to finish. Another one in that category would be, say, Hey Lewis Hayes. He's had some horrid luck in that Grease Monkey Special too. Christopher Logan is 18th, and there's Christopher. Donald Green is in 19th, hanging on to the top 20. Ted Craven runs along in the 20th spot, and he's got Randy Dunlap and a newcomer to the series in Daryl Zucchelli behind him. And then about 8 seconds behind this crew, you've got Barry Seaman in the 55. Ryan DeMolin actually has come into the pit lane, and there's Ryan in the 68. He is a newcomer to the series as well, but Ryan is in the pit lane for what I can only imagine would be some extended repair. While we were talking about that, the front three, really the front four, have started to draw away, Caleb. No change in position. Alvarez, Crow, Evans, and Ryan have pulled away from Ryan O'Donohue. O'Donohue has started to pull away from David Dunwoody, and Kendall Paul is racing hard with David Dunwoody now for that 6th spot.
Yeah, Kendall Paul on the outside line. Actually, if he's able to get this pass done down the back straightaway, and he is clear at the moment, but shuts the door just a little bit on David Dunwoody going through 3 and 4. Now it looks like he's able to clear him going into the front straightaway, and Greg Evans, whether that was an error or not, he spammed the pitting in button. I'm guessing that was possibly by mistake, but Kendall Paul able to make that outside line work, and that's something you really don't see here around Nashville, is somebody able to make a pass on the outside here.
Yeah, Caleb, it is very difficult to make a move around the outside here at Nashville, particularly in one of these stock cars. You'll see it a little bit more in on the open wheel side, where you can really build up a draft and get up there, but it is very rare to see somebody drive around another car on the outside, and David Dunwoody now falls into the clutches of James Hodgson. As we work lap 27 and 188, remember, we're going to get the admin box caution at lap 45 for the end of the first stage. One of the things we didn't talk about, we talked about pit exit here, Caleb, being very treacherous as we go back to the front of this field. Greg Evans has gotten underneath Sam Crow, and Greg Evans will go through in a second, and just like that, he's flipped the switch, and the deuce has started to come to the front.
Yes, he has indeed. Greg Evans, like we talked about, this time it only took about 25 laps for him, but usually around lap 15, 20, like we always said, he likes to save tires and he likes to build on these long runs, and now he's all over the back of Franco Alvarez. He's already gotten around his teammate Sam Crow. Does he make a move going into turn number 1? He doesn't, but he looks like he's going to cut it down hard on next hand and try to make him set up a move for the back straightaway here.
Yeah, Greg Evans. It appears now, Caleb, it's not going to be a question of if, it's a matter of when. Greg Evans lines it up behind Franco Alvarez. He's looking left, he's looking right. Can't quite find the space, and Alvarez will run it up the hill, turn 3. That'll give Greg Evans the opening he needs on the bottom. As we come to get lap 30, we are going to have a new leader. Greg Evans has nosed in front of Franco Alvarez. Can he complete the pass, though? That's the question. He finally does it in turn number 2.
He completes that pass, and Alvarez hitting the wall there. Sam Crow thought about it for a brief moment, but backs out of it. We'll see if Sam Crow has the momentum to try to get himself back into the second place position here. He's got to run going down the front stretch, but I think he's just a little bit too far at the moment.
Just a little bit too far indeed. Just a little bit too far indeed. Sam Crow not close enough. Greg Evans has the lead. Alvarez second. Crow third. Trevor Ryan fourth. And they have pulled a 1.8 second gap over Kendall Paul, who has now made it past Ryan O'Donohue into the 5th spot. O'Donohue has started to fall backwards. Greg Evans he has started to put daylight between himself and Franco Alvarez for the lead. What I was going to, or for the second spot, what I was going to say was not, it's not just the pit exit here that can be tricky. The pit entry here might be one of the most difficult that these drivers will have to deal with all season. I happen to think that this pit entry is one of the most difficult in the sim, because you got to get down there into turn 3. You got to go all the way around that warm-up lane. It is completely flat, and just like the pit exit, it is dusty, it's dirty, there is not a lot of grip. And frankly, Caleb, on hot, sticky tires, when you hit that dust and dirt and that flat surface, it is very, very tricky to handle.
Yes, it is, and it also kind of feels if you do decide to come off turn number 4, they're not required to go into turn number 3, but a lot of drivers do, because it's actually not that much of a time loss actually going through turn number 3 and 4. But if they do decide to pin off turn number 4, which a lot of the IndyCar guys do, that pinch comes up on you quick, and it's a very sharp entry indeed, and you'll see a lot of the guys lock up the rears and get the car fully sideways just before they get to the pit entry line.
Yeah, and that's the thing. In the open wheel stuff, we're required to use it. In NASCAR, they may not have to, but you may want to. And sometimes leagues mandate that you do it, even if it's not required as part of the track itself. Watching Franco Alvarez as he continues to lose time. I'll tell you a driver that's losing time, Ryan O'Donoghue. There's Joshua Zorn going past. O'Donoghue's now fallen to the 7th spot as he continues to give up positions. Thankfully for him, he's going to have a little bit of breathing room, about 3/4 of a second, back to James Hodgson, and he's just got to hold on for another 10 laps, Caleb.
Yeah, he is. Joshua Zorn has actually kind of made a comeback in stage number 1. He was back about in the 12th to 13th spot initially at the beginning of the stage. Now he's trying to find himself inside the top 5. He's only got Kendall Paul right in front of him to make it happen, as well as a little bit of lap traffic in the way. But Joshua Zorn kind of on a comeback here, Murph. We'll see what he's able to do for the rest of the running.
Yeah, looking at lap times, he's running the same speed as Franco Alvarez, Kendall Paul. Really, the cars ahead of him. Greg Evans, Sam Crow, and Trevor Ryan are the 3 fastest cars on the racing surface. We go back up to Sam Crow because he's now caught Franco Alvarez. But Evans, Crow, and Ryan are the 3 fastest cars on the track. They're all running around 32.2s. Everybody else is in that 32.3 to 32.4 second bracket. You get back to David Dunwoody. He's in the high 4s, and everybody else behind them is at 32.5. The pace has slowed considerably, and put this away for later, Caleb. The pace has slowed considerably. They're about 1.3 to 1.5 seconds slower than their outright best laps as we work lap 38 of 188 here at Nashville.
Yeah, that's what we always estimate. A full stint usually is about 2 to 2.5 seconds, so they're about halfway on what they can fully do on a set of fuel here and a set of tires. So they're probably going to be a little bit further off by the time in the end of stage number 1, and they'll be a little bit even slower by the time stage number 3 comes about. But the track temp will change. The sun will go down. The night lights will come up. The track temperature should go down. So that might make the cars a little bit faster, but that fall off is still going to be just as prevalent.
Yeah, it's like I've always said here, Caleb. The first 2 stages, it's almost as much about what you can learn as it is how fast you are. And certainly the drivers in this field are taking note. Hey, this is how much I lose at this point, and that's going to inform their strategy for the final stage, isn't it, Caleb?
Yes, it is indeed, and that's what you often see a lot of these drivers do. They'll practice a lot of like short runs in the practice session. You see very few drivers practice a lot of long run strategies here, and they often use stage number 1, stage number 2 to kind of get an idea of how they should drive these Grand National cars. And you see that with Greg Evans a lot. He's one of the drivers that likes to practice these long runs, and right now he's pulling away from the guys that had a lot of earlier pace. Franco Alvarez, Sam Crow, Ryan O'Donohue. He's really kind of fallen back a little bit, back into the 7th place spot, and is still losing time. But a lot of the guys that practice long runs and in the practice session really kind of prevail, not only in stage number 1, stage number 2, but they prevail especially in that 3rd stage as well.
Yes, they do. Watching this battle for second, Caleb, I'm not so sure, as we see Trevor Ryan drop to the bottom of Sam Crow, I'm not so sure that Franco Alvarez isn't holding up progress here.
I would imagine so. He is very good on the short runs, and we kind of noticed that over the course of a long run, it just seems like the tires at the end of the stint aren't really there for him anymore. You see Trevor Ryan, ooh! Him and Sam Crow almost coming together as they go through turn number 1. Trevor Ryan able to get the spot, though. We'll see if he's able to get to the back of Franco Alvarez before the stage ends. Only about 2 to go when they come across the line. But that's the one thing, we always, kind of talk about, we have a lot of good short run pace guys. We have a lot of long pace guys. That's what you kind of see with Trevor Ryan and Greg Evans at the moment. Franco Alvarez and Sam Crow kind of dropping back just a tiny bit, but they have very good short pace here, at least with Franco Alvarez. Sam Crow a little bit more known to be a long run guy, but you kind of see Franco Alvarez, he's pulled away a little bit, but that's more to do so because of the battle between Trevor Ryan and Sam Crow.
Yeah, Alvarez has gotten away, although Trevor Ryan is closing rapidly. We're going to start the final lap of the stage. This is going to be Track Racer stage break number 1. If you go to trackracer.com and you enter the website, just as I'm going to put it in the chat, 5% of your order does go to the end-of-year AMA prize fund, as Greg Evans will come through turns 3 and 4. He will be the first across the line. Now remember, it's 10th place that controls the stage break. We've got a battle for 8th rather. Crash Neon trying to get through James Hodgson, but it's Mark Paget that's going to control the caution.
All right, man.
There's Paget, and there is the admin box caution flag for the end of Track Racer stage number 1. That goes to Greg Evans. The points leader wins yet another stage. And we get ready for the first round of pit stops. Do want to thank everybody for joining in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you too can get in on all of the iRacing fun. We also want to thank Outland Custom Arms for their sponsorship of the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. At Outland Custom Arms, their mission is to provide hunters and outdoor sportsmen with precision-crafted firearms rooted in Oregon's rugged legacy. Every build is hand-tuned for performance, reliability, and the uncompromising pursuit of the perfect shot. That is Outland Custom Arms. And we get ready to do battle on the pit lane, Caleb. It is worth reporting Ryan DeMullen is on pit road with the meatball. He will not be making it back out on the track. Ted Craven has retired the number 1. He'll be credited with 23rd. Barry Seaman is rolling around out there. He's got some damage, as does Daryl Zucchelli. And so 20 cars will be on the lead lap. Zucchelli should get the lucky dog here as they head back around, and Greg Evans comes into the pit lane.
Yes, they do indeed. I'll be curious to see. The tire wear is pretty high here. I don't reckon we'll see anybody just take fuel only, but it could be a massive strategy that could pull off at the end here. We'll see if anybody does it, but I reckon everybody will take 4 set of Goodyear tires, 4 tires.
Yeah, I think you're going to see everybody get 4 here. They're going to get 4 in stage 2, and then it's going to be a question of who's going to try. Is anybody going to try to make what would be, Caleb, a 95 lap under green run? Greg Evans wins the race off of pit road, followed by Alvarez, Ryan Crow, and Kendall Paul. Ryan O'Donohue 6th, then Joshua Zorn, Crash Neon, James Hodgson, and Mark Paget, your top 10, coming off of the pit lane as the cars continue to file through. Yeah, I wonder though, is it possible to make it that final stage without stopping?
I'm not exactly sure. I think you could probably get at least 80 on here pretty safely, but fuel saving, you might be able to extend that much. But at that point, do you consider, is the tire pace going to be that much of an advantage that that long, so it's more so to do. I think the will pit is still a very, very long stage number 3, but I guarantee you it'll probably be more so to do with tires than it is to be with fuel.
Well, and the question then becomes, you're going to lose a couple of laps pitting under green here. You're not going to make that up with a set of 4 new tires. Is it possible then, Caleb, that somebody could stay at, somebody's going to gamble and just say, look, I'm going to stay out until I run the tank dry. I'm going to take the lap advantage, the 2-lap advantage maybe, and I'm going to sit out here and hope for a caution flag that traps everybody a lap down and gives me the freshest tires at the end of the race. That could very well be possible too.
Could be indeed. That's what we saw Crash Neon do in Dover. In fact, will we see a repeat of that here tonight?
Well, there's only 22 cars left on the speedway as Greg Evans gets ready to lead them back to the green flag. We're going to get it to start lap 50. Remember, stage break number 2 will happen at lap number 90. Evans and Alvarez line up on row 1. Ryan and Crow, row 2. O'Donohue, Kendall Paul are going to be in row 3 as Barney puts the green flag back in the air. And we get ready to roll for 40 more laps here at Nashville until stage number 2.
Green flag flies. Greg Evans gets an amazing jump over the rest of the field here. Trevor Ryan's going to slot himself into the second place position, but understeers right in front. Franco Alvarez gets a little bit of the bumper as they come off turn number 2.
He does. That allows Trevor Ryan to go through. Franco Alvarez now is under fire from Kendall Paul. Kendall Paul would like to have that 3rd spot. Franco Alvarez is going to try to fight back on the outside, and Ryan O'Donohue would love to make up for some lost track position. He's disposed to Sam Crow. Ryan O'Donohue is looking for 4th if he can follow Kendall Paul through here.
Yes, he is. Franco Alvarez still making that high line work. We really haven't seen that too much, but in the background, James Hodgson getting really loose off the corner off turn number 2. But Franco Alvarez still able to hold position at the moment. Kendall Paul actually loses a place to Ryan O'Donohue. O'Donohue, I did notice at the end of the stage, he was lapping pretty quick. He was actually doing 32 twos towards the end of the stint, which was 2 tenths faster, 1 to 2 tenths faster than the guys right in front of him. So maybe O'Donohue is trying to do a ultra tire save there and just had really, really good pace at the end of the stint.
It's possible. Kendall Paul looking all over the back of Ryan O'Donohue, can't quite get there, and he'll fall back into the clutches of Sam Crow as Franco Alvarez tries to run down Trevor Ryan for that 2nd spot. The action, though, is right around 10th. John Houchins and James Hodgson are fighting over that 10th spot. Houchins will go through, and he'll immediately go to work on the back of Mark Paget. And Mark Paget is an interesting story here too, Caleb. Mark Paget started this race 18th. He's made up 9 spots. So don't let anybody tell you that you can't pass here at Nashville. Mark Paget has passed nearly half the field here, Caleb.
Yes, he has indeed. And Joshua Zorn, he started just outside the top 5, is in the 8th place position, and he's kind of fallen back just a little bit, but we saw him in stage number 1 gain all that time back. Meanwhile, battle for the 2nd place position. Trevor Ryan on the outside, Franco Alvarez on the inside. Trevor had a run on the outside, is going to have to yield going through 3 and 4, but that allows Ryan O'Donohue to get a run on his rear bumper here going on to the front straightaway.
Ryan O'Donohue is hunting that podium spot one more time, and you wonder what he learned in that first stage. Remember, he was up at the front. He fell back nearly to the back half of the top 10. He was running comparable lap times to the leaders at the end of the stage, and now he finds himself back up in fourth. And let's see if he can't put that track position to some better use, Caleb. So Ryan O'Donohue hunting back up toward the front. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. It is here on P1. We are 56 of 188 into lap 56 of 188 here at the Nashville Superspeedway. You've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear with you. Sam Crow looking to the inside of Kendall Paul now for the 5th spot.
Sam Crow, a very massive lunge there to slot himself into the top 5 here. Our pole sitter kind of has fallen back just a little bit, but we know he has good long run pace here at Nashville Superspeedway. We'll see if he's able to regain any of that time to the likes of Ryan O'Donohue and Trevor Ryan.
Yeah, and look at the car that's pulled up into the 7th spot right behind them. That's Crash Neon. Crash Neon, we have not mentioned very much today. He started 13th. He's clawed his way up to 7th. He has been quietly and methodically working his way through the field. Keep an eye on that 00 machine. He may have something to say about the win here before all this is over with. Ryan O'Donohue, he's going to try the outside of Trevor Ryan, but can't quite make it stick, Caleb.
No, he can't. We've rarely seen the outside line work, even though Kendall Paul has proven that differently with an outside pass earlier in stage number 1. But you really can't make the outside work too well unless there is a massive tire deficit to the other drivers around you. You see Sam Crow look to the inside of Ryan O'Donohue trying to get that 4th place spot back that he had earlier. He sends it on the inside and able to clear him before he even gets to the middle of 1 and 2.
Yeah, and here comes Kendall Paul. He's going to try to follow suit on the bottom side, make Sam Crow 4th, O'Donohue 5th, and now Kendall Paul's going to have that 5th spot, Caleb.
Yeah, Kendall Paul started back in 11th, currently up 6 positions if he's able to get this spot done and dusted. Not able to quite clear O'Donohue. O'Donohue's going to have another run coming onto the front straightaway here. We'll see if Kendall Paul sends it in deep going into 1 and 2. Doesn't really. Ryan O'Donohue able to stick on that outside. Finally, Kendall Paul is able to clear him. Kendall Paul up into the top 5 here.
Kendall Paul does go to the top 5. Ryan O'Donohue, though, he's not done. O'Donohue pulls it back to the bottom side. He's going to try to see if he can't have that position right on back from Kendall Paul. And all this is doing is letting Sam Crow just pull on away. It's causing these cars that are battling here to lose an enormous amount of time, Caleb.
Yes, it is indeed. Sam Crow, he's actually kind of split the difference between the top 3 and the Kendall Paul right behind him. He's kind of on his own at the moment, just kind of running his own race. Meanwhile, the battle right behind the guys we've just been talking about is Crash Neon and Mark Padgett going side by side through 3 and 4. Mark's on the inside. He has a good run, but Crash able to clear him on the outside. And now he looks on the back of Ryan O'Donohue. Has a look, but not able to quite get there.
Yeah, he wasn't quite able to do it. Crash Neon looks mighty racy, and so does Mark Padgett. Mark Padgett driven all the way from the back, and Crash Neon, he didn't start up near the front either. Both of those cars have come forward, and now Neon looking to the inside of Ryan O'Donohue, but O'Donohue slams the door in 3. Crash Neon drives right up to the rear bumper of that 14. I don't think he was too pleased with that, Caleb, but on they race, no contact for what it's worth. But Neon definitely drove it right to the rear bumper of Ryan O'Donohue there.
Yes, he is indeed. Crash Neon, and, he's fighting within the top 10 pretty consistently. He's had a very good string of races recently. He won the truck race at Dover a couple weeks ago, and now, absolutely, he kind of showed that, his talent there at Dover. He's shown his talent here tonight, running just outside of the top 5 here. We'll see if he has anything, maybe possibly get another top 5 result when it's all said and done.
Yeah, Crash Neon having a great night. Ryan O'Donohue has started to pull back up on the rear of Kendall Paul. Meanwhile, Trevor Ryan is all over the back of Franco Alvarez for that second spot.
Yes, he is indeed. I kind of was watching the leaders a little bit over the past couple of laps. Franco was on the rear bumper of Greg Evans, but not able to get a run done and dusted. Now it seems like the tables have turned for him, where he now has to defend from Trevor Ryan, but he has pulled out a little bit of a gap to him. We'll see if that gap is able to maintain over the course of the next 25 laps or so.
We shall see, Caleb. We're still watching the battle up front. Trevor Ryan has fallen back from Franco Alvarez just a little bit, and they have a nice gap in hand. It's about 8-9 tenths of a second over Sam Crow in 4th, Kendall Paul 5th, Ryan O'Donohue 6th, as we continue to run lap 66 of 188 here at Nashville Superspeedway. Mark Paget has dropped to the bottom of Crash Neon. This would be a battle for 7th.
Mark Paget sends it on the inside. Is he able to clear Crash Neon off corner number 4? No, he is not. Crash has a run on the outside here. He really, Crash, going through 3 and 4, really kind of ran that 3rd or 4th lane. We really haven't seen anybody up that high, and he's still kind of running that 3rd lane. He's kind of making it work at the moment, but he's going to have to concede that position to Mark Paget. Mark Paget up 11 spots from where he started here earlier today.
Crash Neon tried to make the lunge back down the bottom. He got a huge run coming off the high side. Couldn't make it stick, and so Paget continues on in 7th, Neon 8th, and he's got John Houchins and Joshua Zorn right behind him, 9th and 10th. Looking for battles on the track. Here's a good one. Say Hey Lewis Hayes is chasing down Vance Fisher. That's 14th. He's got Mike Rigney and Troy Carricker, 13th and 12th. James Hodgson, 11th. These cars are all right in a nice little knot, Caleb.
Yes, they are indeed. James Hodgson kind of has dropped back quite a bit on the initial start of the stage. He's now got Troy Carricker right behind him, as well as Mike Rigney. Mike Rigney is up 7 positions at the moment. Right behind him, Vance Fisher goes really, really wide, almost into the wall there. He's going to have to concede that place to Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Lewis Hayes up into the 14th position.
Yeah, Say Hey Lewis Hayes has started to move forward just a little bit. He gets by the Tabasco Fiasco Vance Fisher, and he'll continue to run with teammate Mike Rigney. Both of these cars, Lewis Hayes started 19th, Rigney in 20th, have come from the back, and they're just kind of methodically picking their way forward here, Caleb. Meanwhile, up front, Franco Alvarez and Trevor Ryan, they're fixing to have a bit of a disagreement over second. And while they do that, Sam Crow, Kendall Paul, and Ryan O'Donohue have started to run them down.
Yes, they have indeed. Trevor was able to get up the inside of Franco Alvarez and able to clear him going through the middle of the corner, and he looks like he's just about to pull away from Franco Alvarez. Franco Alvarez tires maybe not lasting as long as his competitors around him. Sam Crow, Kendall Paul, and Ryan O'Donohue all currently faster than him by about 0.3 of a second.
They are as of now, although that could have just been a one-lap momentary thing. Greg Evans last time, 31.867. Trevor Ryan, 31.970. Alvarez, 31.996. Crow, 31.925. Kendall Paul, 31.899. Ryan O'Donohue, 31.843. And so we've got some fast cars, some faster cars, namely Kendall Paul and Ryan O'Donohue trailing right here. And the problem for those two is they keep fighting each other.
Yeah, Ryan O'Donohue, he wants to try to get back around Kendall Paul. Kendall Paul really late going into turn number 1 on Sam Crow. He's able to get alongside. Does he have the run to stay there going down the back straightaway? Not yet. He's going to have to concede. But Ryan O'Donoghue's got to run on the outside. Is he able to make a move on the outside here?
He's up in that third. He's up in about that third lane, Caleb, and that's the only two people we've seen run up there, Kendall Paul and Crash Neon. But Kendall Paul really he got in there pretty late on Sam Crow. And then he had to check up mid-corner. That gave Sam Crow the spot back. It put Ryan O'Donoghue alongside of him. Kendall Paul is going to hold on to that 5th spot. But all that battling does is it loses them time, Caleb.
Yes, it does. They've lost time to Sam Crow. Ryan O'Donoghue still trying to get around Kendall Paul. He feels like he is faster at the moment. And it does look like he is faster than the 78 there, but they've also lost time not only to the front of the group, but they've allowed Mark Paget to kind of show his nose for a battle inside the top 5. Kendall Paul goes wide through 1 and 2. Ryan O'Donoghue on the outside or on the inside, but not able to get alongside going down the backstretch.
He's got enough steam to get to him. He's got enough to get alongside of him, but he can't.
Oh, big contact there. Kendall Paul's in the wall.
Kendall Paul, contact off the nose of Ryan O'Donoghue. He saves the car. He does impact the wall just a little bit. Ryan O'Donoghue is going to fall under fire from Mark Paget. He'll give up the newly gained 5th spot and relegate himself right back to 6th. Kendall Paul, meanwhile, has got bigger problems. He's got Crash Neon his inside. There goes Neon. And Joshua Zorn, too, is going to try to make that move down the inside. Kendall Paul might go from 5th to 9th before all this is over, Caleb.
Yeah, he had a bit of a bump there from Ryan O'Donoghue. Ryan O'Donoghue also losing a bit of time because of that. It just looked like, looking back on that replay, it just seems like Ryan O'Donoghue just kind of got in deep and barely tapped the rear end of Kendall Paul. So it wasn't a slight little mistake. It wasn't nowhere near intentional, but just a small little mistake from O'Donoghue, and it cost both of them a massive heap of time there.
Yeah, and you got to wonder now if there's some damage that Kendall Paul machine, the 78, does not seem to be back on pace. Ryan O'Donoghue is back up to full song, but Kendall Paul is losing time, and I wonder as we see Troy Carricker go to the bottom, I wonder if his steering is not knocked off in that car. He does not have the meatball, but I'm going to look at Troy Carricker's wheel. They're about the same. Carricker about 8,200 down the back. We'll check Troy Carricker's car at the end of the front. There has got to be damage to Kendall Paul now because he's fallen back to 13th. Here's Carricker, 82, about 84. He's going to touch the chip. Kendall Paul, we're going to look at his pace here. Watch the tack, Caleb. Watch the tack. Jarrett Corey checking in says that was a bump and run. I don't think it was on purpose. Kendall Paul though is down about 400 RPM or 200 going down the back, and we'll see what he is down the front. But that car is definitely off song.
Well, I would be watching Kendall Paul, but I'm currently watching Franco Alvarez and Sam Crow. They're getting a little bit of argy-bargy going down the front stretch. Franco Alvarez trying to make that outside work, trying to defend from Sam Crow. Sam Crow, they almost make contact down the backstretch as well. This is a tense battle for 3rd place at the moment, and that's actually allowed Mark Paget to introduce himself to this battle. But Sam Crow finally able to clear himself on Franco Alvarez, but Franco has to give up to Mark Paget, and Mark Paget now looks for a top 3 position at the moment.
Yeah, that was a classic case of those Sam Crow and Franco Alvarez got to fighting, and Mark Paget said, hey, I think I'll just pass both of you, get 2 for the price of 1. And now Alvarez and Sam Crow are going to go after it again. Alvarez will fall back in line. Here comes Ryan O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue might benefit from this as well. He's back up to 6th after the contact with Kendall Paul. I was going to say Kendall Paul was about 200 RPM short on both ends of the speedway, Caleb. And so that number 78 machine is just waiting out the caution. The good news for Kendall Paul is even though he's about 0.25 of a second slow, he's got a caution coming in 8 laps. So he doesn't have to worry about losing a lap. Just keep it moving, keep it going in the right direction. He'll be able to come in and effect repair very shortly as we watch Alvarez do battle with Sam Crow and Ryan O'Donohue.
Yes, he is indeed. Speaking of Kendall Paul, I did look on his car. He does have quite a bit of right front damage on the front bumper there, so that's going to definitely be slowing him down. Meanwhile, just behind, just for a battle inside the top 10, John Hutchins and Troy Carricker, those guys are going to go back side by side down the back straightaway for the 9th place position. They got James Hodgson right behind them. They got Mike Rigney also throws his hat into this ring. So that's an intense battle for just inside the top 10 here.
They are. Joshua Zorn, Crash Neon, a little bit further back in this fight. There they are. Troy Carricker and John Houchins. James Hodgson, they've been battling for quite some time. And Mike Rigney has followed them through. Rigney is now 12th.
Yes, he is. These guys are really, really going at it. James Hodgson looks up the inside, not able to get quite alongside Hodgins in front. They've lost a little bit of time from Troy Carricker, but we'll see if they're able to regain that. They're still within a couple car lengths. John really sending it on the bottom there, really wrapping that yellow line through 1 and 2. He's able to get a really good run off the exit of 2 here. We'll see if he's able to get right alongside the bumper here.
Yeah, we'll see. Troy Carricker continues to lead this battle. He's 9th, Houchins 10th. Hodgson 11th, Rigney 12th as they work lap 86 of 188. We are going to have the stage break here in 5 laps time. Do thank everybody for joining in. We have not had a yellow light, Caleb, knock on wood, except for the stage breaks in this one. Franco Alvarez, by the way, and Sam Crow still going at it. It's 4th and 5th now instead of for 3rd, but Alvarez will drop to the bottom. And he'll make the move on Sam Crow, so move Alvarez to 4th, Crow to 5th.
Yeah, this battle for basically Mark Pageant back has really been amped up a little bit, all the way back to Crash Neon. Sam Crow still trying to look up the inside of Franco Alvarez. He wants that position back. Gets alongside going down the back straightaway. He sends it in deep to turn number 3. He has the likes of Ryan O'Donohue trying to help him, trying to nudge him along, going through the corner. Franco Alvarez kind of caught on that high side here, but he's still able to stay alongside here going down the front stretch.
He's going to give it a shot. I thought Ryan O'Donohue was going to make it 3 wide. Now he does briefly, and O'Donohue going to back out of that. As Crow and Alvarez, now they are going to go 3 wide. Ryan O'Donohue to the bottom. He'll put Sam Crow in the middle coming off a 2.
He puts it 3 wide. He is in the bottom. Sam Crow backs out of it. That allows the likes of Crash Neon and Joshua Zorn to go side by side. Now Ryan O'Donohue and Franco Alvarez are making contact with each other coming off turn number 2. Ryan O'Donohue able to get 2 positions there in that last lap, but Sam Crow is still trying to get around Franco Alvarez.
Yeah, these two have not quit. They were fighting for 3rd, then they were fighting for 4th. They'll resume their battle, except now it's for 5th. Alvarez and they touch. Oh! They touch, and Franco Alvarez is going to slide to the bottom. He does not hit the inside wall. He continues straight. Franco Alvarez with a masterful save, but he's going to go all the way to the back of the line. No yellow. Greg Evans has the stage in command. He is 1.7 seconds ahead of Trevor Ryan, who's another 1.7 seconds ahead of Mark Paget, who's another 1.5 seconds ahead of Ryan O'Donohue. And from everything from back there is where the fight has started, but this is where it ends. Greg Evans is going to cross the line, and we're going to get back here and watch this mess. Joshua Zorn 7th has Troy Carricker under him, looking for 8th. He's not going to quite get there as James Hodgson will cross the line and bring out the caution for Blackmagic Studios stage break number 2. Blackmagic Studios are a small operation dedicated to high-quality iRacing paints or wraps for any car. Visit them on Discord or Facebook for your next high-quality iRacing paint And I can vouch for that because when you see me in action on P1, I am driving a car that is a Blackmagic Studios design. Also want to take a moment to thank series sponsor Outland Custom Arms. At Outland Custom Arms, their mission is to provide hunters and outdoor sportsmen with precision-crafted firearms rooted in Oregon's rugged legacy. Every build is hand-tuned for performance, reliability, and the uncompromising pursuit of the perfect shot. That's Outland Custom Arms. It is the Archway Industrial Coatings 250 from Nashville. We're under our second caution for stage. Both cautions thus far, Ryan, have been stage cautions. Really, that spin for Alvarez has been the only incident. We've had single car wall contact. Barry Seaman, Ted Craven, Ryan DeMolin all out of the race due to single car contact with the outside wall. They have retired their cars. Nothing that would bring out a yellow. Franco Alvarez with a big time save coming off a 2 and down the back after contact with Sam Crow. And none of that matters now because they're all going to come to the pit lane. And I bet we see Kendall Paul take some repair here. Again, he was down a couple of hundred RPM. You could visibly see the damage on the right front of that machine as we watch everybody head toward their pit box here.
Yeah, we will certainly see Kendall Paul. He was definitely struggling there after the contact with the outside wall with that incident with Ryan O'Donohue, but we'll see how bad it is. It didn't look like it was the hardest hit, and it looked like he hit it pretty square, but of course with iRacing's damage model, that could mean absolutely nothing, and it could be, quite a bit with quite a bit of repair he's going to have to do.
Yeah, we're gonna check it out for Kendall Paul as everybody streams away from the pit lane. There's Kendall, and there you see the damage on the front of that Ford Mustang Dark Horse. You got Daryl Zucchelli behind him. Zucchelli will leave. He had also taken some repair, but Kendall Paul, that car is significantly damaged, Caleb, and he's going to want to get as much of that fixed as he can.
Yes, he does. And, most of the time, we know like a stage caution will come out. Well, this is the third stage, so he can't afford to go a lap down because, we ran stage number 1, stage number 2.
He can't. He needs to get going. He needs to get going because there you see the field coming by. There goes Kendall Paul. He has repaired 1 minute and 3 seconds. Is he going to beat the pace car? He is. And so what Kendall Paul wants to do now is he wants to get around as quickly as possible. Well, he's going to have to get around as quickly as possible and rejoin the field. He's not going to have a chance to get any more of that fixed because we're going to go back to green the next time by, and he does not want to lose a lap. Now, it is worth mentioning, Caleb, Kendall Paul was he was running in the 13th spot before the stage break happened, and he had the speed to run in 13th. He was not losing time to the cars around him. So we know he can run there comfortably at least. David Dunwoody back in 20th came in and topped up on fuel. So that's interesting, Caleb. Dunwoody came back in 4 seconds of gas. So won't that be fun? So the plot thickens again. Greg Evans going to lead Trevor Ryan, Ryan O'Donohue, and Mark Padgett back toward the green flag here. Stage number 3 is going to get underway. We are going to have 94 laps to decide it here at Nashville in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series.
Green, green, green.
Green flag waves, and Greg Evans, again, just like he did at the end of stage number 1, starting stage number 2, gets out to a massive lead. Ryan O'Donohue sends it on the inside of Trevor Ryan. He's going to have to slot back into third, and it's side by side going on to the back straightaway, basically fourth on back.
It is. There's that battle. Crash Neon to the inside of Mark Padgett. Neon has made his way from the...
But we got crashed at 3-4.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Vance Fisher hard into the wall. Caution is out one more time on the speedway, and that is of massive benefit to Kendall Paul. Here's Vance Fisher. He's going down underneath, say, hey, Lewis Hayes. And there's just a little bit of contact. They run out of room. They hook up. Fisher hard into the wall. Evasive action taken by all. I don't think anybody else got contact there. We're going to go back and watch this from David Dunwoody's perspective because this is going to be interesting, Caleb. So here's Dunwoody. Remember, he came in and got fuel. Did Dunwoody on that last caution? He came back in and topped up his tank. The incident is going to happen at this next corner, and it begs the question now: who's going to stop other than Kendall Paul? Nobody. Nobody came in to top up the tank. Kendall Paul is obviously going to come in and take some more damage. Contact should occur right there. And watch Dunwoody. We're on the roof cam. He kind of gets a little bit of contact from the 69, but that's okay. We file back through. Kendall Paul back on pit lane under further repair as we work the admin box caution flag here in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. If you are a race controller, league owner, you admin a league, you run a lot of hosted sessions, you need an admin box that is race control at the touch of a button. www.adminbox.com. Caleb, that might be one of the coolest toys that I have in the rig, and I've got several. But the admin box is a ton of fun. When you're racing with Caleb Brashear, you just hit, you hit DQ and whatever number you're running, you hit enter, and it boots him right. It boots Caleb right out of the session.
I don't know why he would want to do that to me, but can't win them all, I guess.
Well, you might. You might. I would never DQ you from a session. Come on, Caleb. But you can throw the yellow flag with that. You can give wave rounds with that thing. You can chat, unlock and unlock chat. You can use it for replays. It's really a pretty awesome piece of kit. You got to see Fish at one of those. And we just learned that he's going to be at the Sim Gaming Expo here in September with us, Caleb. So I'll run you by the admin box booth. We'll get you a T-shirt.
How about that?
I'll have to get Fish to get one in a triple XL skinny for you. How's that sound? Greg Evans going to lead him back to the green flag here. As we get going, we've got 90 laps to go, Caleb. And Evans streaks out into the lead one more time. Trevor Ryan second, Ryan O'Donoghue third.
Trevor Ryan now pulls the inverse of what happened on the last restart. But Ryan O'Donoghue able to make that high side work going through 1 and 2 at the moment. He gets a run going on down the backstretch, but Trevor Ryan still kind of has a fender. But Ryan O'Donoghue just able to clear him before they get into turn number 3. But Greg Evans shoots out to the lead here early on like he always does. Ryan O'Donoghue in second, Trevor Ryan in third.
It is worth mentioning Kendall Paul, another minute of repair, 45 seconds, and he has started to creep forward. I would surmise that the front end of that 78 is fixed, and there you see it as we zoom in. It is no longer wrinkled, and Kendall Paul is coming back to the front, 15th, and working on Brian Sharp for 14th.
Yeah, Kendall Paul, obviously with that incident earlier, he was running just inside the top 5 earlier. The incident put him basically way down the order, just inside the top 15. Now he's on the comeback. He has plenty of time to do it. We'll see if he's able to claw back inside the top 5 before this thing's said and done.
You know, you just have to hope for Kendall Paul's sake that he unchecked the tires before he came in for that final stop, because he does not have another set on the pit box. One of the things I wish they would do, Caleb, is allow you to put back on a set of scuffs.
Yeah, that'd be an option, but I know you were able to do in the F1 games. You were able to put a set of scuffs on. But iRacing does not have that option, unfortunately, just in case you accidentally do take a set of tires.
Speaking of drivers on the move, Franco Alvarez pounds the wall coming off at turn number 2. Here's another one that was running up in that top 5 early. He had that slide down the backstretch toward the end of the last stage. Did not bring out a caution. Alvarez trying to work his way back up to the front. He's 12th, working on Mike Rigney. See if he can't get. He's 13th. Rigney is 12th. He's working on Rigney, but he's up in that high side, and he has not been as effective as Kendall Paul, Ryan O'Donoghue, and others have been up there. And O'Donoghue, meanwhile, has gone to the lead. Greg Evans has let his teammate pass, and O'Donoghue is going to try to run off into the sunset here.
Yes, he is indeed. O'Donoghue has had not the greatest strings of races here. He's had good, qualifying pace, but he's had a little bit of his luck has not gone his way in the recent races, but he finds himself in the lead early on in stage number 3. His teammates right behind him. They got Trevor Ryan currently hounding Greg Evans, but we'll see in 10 to 15 laps time where they'll all cycle out once we get a few, about 20 or 25 laps on these set of tires.
Yeah, we will. There's your new leader, Ryan O'Donoghue. He starts to creep away from Greg Evans in second. They've got Trevor Ryan third. Mark Paget, fourth. Paget all over Trevor Ryan. He would love to claim that third spot. And waiting in the wings in fifth is Crash Neon. Again, very quiet drive for Crash. But he's worked his way in the top 5, and he might be going for fourth here before too much longer. He pulls the inside of Mark Paget.
Yeah, he's got a fender on the inside. He sends it into turn number 1. Still alongside going through the middle of the corner, but is he able to clear him on exit? Yes, he does. Crash Neon slots himself up into the top 4.
And there you see it. Meanwhile, behind them, you've got John Houchins and Sam Crow doing battle, and Mark Paget falls back from Crash Neon and nearly gets run over by John Houchins.
Yeah, Houchins had a really, really big run going through 3 and 4 there. Mark was kind of slow on the bottom there. In fact, that Sam Crow that actually had to check up going through the middle of the corner. But those two, they start side by side in the beginning of all that. There's a little bit of jostling, but they're still going side by side nearly 2 laps later. Sam's still working the bottom. John's still working the top. They're still side by side going through 4. They make a little bit of contact. Sam Crow, they're able to both save it here, but Sam Crow is able to get that position there coming off turn number 4.
I don't think John Houchins took his foot off the gas, Caleb, and he was able to save that 72. Sam Crow will have the position. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Franco Alvarez now does battle with Troy Carricker. This would get him back into the top 10. There goes Alvarez through, and he'll set his sights on Say Hey Lewis Hayes. And Lewis Hayes, he's made up a ton of spots in this one too. Say Hey Lewis Hayes started this race 19th. He is currently 9th in the Grease Monkey Robert Turnbull Special, but he's about to fall back to 10th. Franco Alvarez runs it to the bottom. Say Hey Lewis Hayes to the top, but it's really a matter of time. That is miraculous save number 2 of the day for Alvarez.
Yeah, Franco getting a little bit dicey there with, say, Lewis Hayes there coming off turn number 2. Right behind them, Hodgson and Mike Rigney are going to go side by side. Hodgson has lost quite a bit of time on this restart there. He's got Kendall Paul on his rear bumper. Kendall also trying to do a comeback from the rear of the field here. at the beginning of stage number 3. He's possibly still maybe has a little bit of right front damage, but he has a majority of it repaired. He's on the charge forward. Tries to get a fender on the outside, not able to quite get it done, but looks to the inside, goes to the apron. Able to get alongside going in turn number 1. We'll see if he's able to get the position going through the corner.
They are teammates, at least, Kendall Paul and James Hodgson. They know each other very, very well. They're in the same Discord, so you would think they would be communicating. Rigney is going to get through Troy Carricker here, so move Mike Rigney up to 11th on the high side as we watch Kendall Paul and James Hodgson. They're going to go after it for 13th here, Caleb, and we would show the leaders, but there's not really much going on up there. They're single file, nose to tail, and I gotta believe that Greg Evans just kind of saving his stuff about a half a second behind Ryan O'Donoghue. We're gonna see that battle rematerialize later.
We will indeed, but the battle right behind him is kind of intensifying. Trevor Ryan, Crash Neon almost went side by side, but Crash and Mark Paget now almost going side by side. They almost made contact going through the tri-oval, and now that allows Sam Crow John Hutchins to get a run on the outside of Sam Crow. Crows closes the door coming off turn number 2.
Didn't quite get there, but Hutchins will try to reform on the outside, and John Hutchins looking on Sam Crow, and he is fully committed to that top line as John Hutchins. Hutchins is not running the conventional bottom even when he's in line. It might cost him a spot here to Joshua Zorn, but maybe it's that John Hutchins has kind of discovered something that he likes up there as he continues to work the top. Sam Crow, by the way, will drop underneath Crash Neon and take away the 5th spot from Crash. Crash back to 6th, and he is immediately under fire from Joshua Zorn.
Yeah, Crash Neon losing quite a bit of positions on this lap alone. He was 4th coming across the line. Coming across the line now, he's back into 7th. He's lost 3 positions there. Mark Paget is all kind of moving his way forward. So is Sam Crow, Joshua Zorn. They've all kind of broken away just a little bit from Crash Neon. Neon kind of struggling a little bit, about 25 laps into the stint.
They are. Crash Neon has now fallen into the clutches of John Hutchins. That's 7th and 8th. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Troy Carricker, Say Lewis Hayes, and Kendall Paul continue to race along 12th, 13th, and 11th, 12th, and 13th. Kendall Paul trying to get past Say Lewis Hayes. If he can do that, he'd put himself into 12th. Franco Alvarez has made it to 9th. He's got some ground to cover, though. He's nearly a second behind Crash Neon in 8th. Neon makes up the remainder of that front group, and we've got a battle for the lead. Greg Evans has moved right back around Ryan O'Donoghue, and so they let O'Donoghue get out there. He built a 7/10 of a second lead, and then Greg Evans, well, he was patient. He waited his turn. Greg Evans goes back to the point at lap 117 of 188. Do want to thank everybody for joining in the show. You're watching the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. We're watching the top 3, Evans, O'Donoghue, and Trevor Ryan. 117 circuits complete, working 118 at Nashville.
Yeah, we're seeing the old bread and butter for Greg Evans, able to just tire save early on and eventually work his way up into the lead about 20 to 25 laps into his stint. Ryan O'Donoghue drops back a little bit from him, but he's able to build a gap. It looked like initially when they were going side by side, Trevor Ryan was all over the rear of the front two, but he's kind of dropped back to the duo of Ryan O'Donoghue and Greg Evans, the two teammates. He's kind of maintained a gap over 4th, though, Mark Paget. He is running slightly faster than Mark at the moment, but he's not able to gain any time on O'Donoghue in front. little bit further back. Currently watching Zorn and Sam Crow go at it a little bit back inside the top 5 there. Zorn on a little bit of a comeback. He likes these long stints here. He drops back initially, kind of like Greg Evans does, but he's currently on a charge back up towards the front. That battle for the lead still kind of holds around a quarter of a second gap. Trevor Ryan about half a second back from that. And you got about another 3/4 of a second to Mark Padgett, and another half second behind them is Sam Crow and Joshua Zorn going to works as they round the back straightaway into turn number 3.
They do, Caleb, and you kind of wonder what the strategy is from here. They just started lap 30 of their run on these tires. When do you surmise that we're going to start seeing pit stops here?
As we say, David Dunwoody is coming out of the pits right now. This will be a 68 lap or a 68 lap stint for him to the end. So he's on fresh set Goodyear rubber. We'll see if he's able to try to make that undercut work to try to get back inside the top 10 here.
It is. You see Dunwoody, he came off a pit lane 2 laps down right behind the leaders. He's going to have the new pair of shoes. And for Dunwoody, his goal is to get out there and run qualifying laps now to try to establish a gap over the cars that he was racing. That is a definite choice from David Dunwoody to come in as early as possible. He's betting there will be no caution, and that when everything cycles through, he could perhaps be the leader, Caleb.
He could indeed. However, he's got to get around Ryan O'Donoghue and Greg Evans if he wants to try to do that, and he is not able to do that at the moment despite having the fresh Goodyear rubber. So he needs to get around those two and gain as much time as possible on top of that. And he's not currently doing that at the moment. He needs to unlap himself here, at least this time, if he wants to, have that undercut work here.
You see how much faster Dunwoody is through the center of the corner, and I gotta wonder too if he didn't pull a strategy in that first stage. Remember, he had moved himself up into the top 10 as you see him work his way to the bottom side of Ryan O'Donoghue. You got to wonder, did David Dunwoody not take tires at that first stage caution and just elect to run in the back, knowing that he was going to try to do this and put himself in position as he gets to Greg Evans, get himself in position so that if the opportunity arose later on after the pit cycle, he would be the leader and still have a fresh set of tires on pit road.
That could be very much a case scenario that would explain the second stage pace that he had to where he kind of fell off massively from where he was in that first stage here. But he does unlap himself this time, and he immediately builds a gap over Greg Evans. So right now he needs to try to build a gap as much as possible over the leaders that are right behind him. That way he can make this undercut work. And while that he does have an extra set of tires over walls, well, he is basically banking after the pit cycle ends for a caution to come out. That's basically what he absolutely needs. That is what he is gambling on to try and happen. He is gaining on Greg Evans and Ryan O'Donoghue. He's gaining about, last time around, he was about 0.8 of a lap quicker. So yeah, he is significantly faster than our leaders.
31.381 for Dunwoody, 32, 141 for Evans. So he's picking him up and putting him down. I'll tell you who else is picking him up and putting him down. It's Trevor Ryan. He was all over the back of Mark Padgett, hard in the wall for Trevor Ryan off of turn number 4, and that's going to drop him away from the back of Mark Padgett. And depending on, that was a pretty good lick. Depending on that, he might fall into the clutches of Sam Crow.
Yeah, Trevor Ryan losing that position to Mark Padgett last time around. He hits a wall hard. I don't see any damage on that right rear, so maybe he got away with it. But meanwhile, right behind them, we have the battle between Hodgins and Kendall Paul as they go through 3 and 4. Kendall on the inside, Hodgins on the outside, and they got James Hodgson lurking in the background as well. A little bit of contact going into turn number 1 from the 72 there.
Yeah, those 3 cars are all team cars, and so they should be able to coordinate this. Kendall Paul will get through, and Kendall Paul wants to get himself back up into the front here because he's chasing Greg Evans in the points. He's currently second. Evans leads it by a wide margin, and then you've got Ryan O'Donohue third and Sam Crow fourth. John Houchins is involved in that, so too Crash Neon. David Dunwoody would like a good finish. He's seventh. Carricker eighth. James Hodgson ninth. Say Lewis Hayes 10th. Franco Alvarez 11th, and Justin Osterman, who is not here tonight, is the final car in the 12-car chase. I guess we've gone back to that system now in NASCAR. Let's check up on this battle. Sam Crow has now caught Trevor Ryan, and Joshua Zorn is all over Sam Crow.
Yes, he is indeed. Sam Crow just dropping back a little bit. Both these guys have won races earlier on in the season. Joshua Zorn winning in Texas, Sam Crow winning in Rockingham. So these two, those two tracks are like, you put those two together, you basically get this one kind of in how it races. But Sam Crow falls behind Joshua Zorn at the moment. Zorn, he likes these long stint strategies, these longer stints. It seems like to be his specialty at the moment here tonight. We'll see if he's able to get on the back of Trevor Ryan and try and make a move around him to slot himself into the 4th place position. I do also want to point out Mark Pageant has closed that gap significantly to Ryan O'Donohue. He's not even within half a second. He's only about 4 to 5 car lengths behind O'Donohue for that 2nd place position.
Yeah, he is. Mark Paget has slowly but methodically been working his way toward Ryan O'Donohue. He was about a tenth and a quarter quicker than O'Donohue the last time through, and he has closed that gap very nicely. Trevor Ryan falling into the clutches of Joshua Zorn, but the battle is brewing for second between O'Donohue and Paget as we complete 134 and get 135 of 188 here on P1. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you too can get in on all of the iRacing fun, and we've got a lot of it. Tomorrow night, Caleb and I are going to be right back here for the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. That'll be an 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard, the iRacing IndyCar Series presented by 40 Racewear. Top split comes to you at 2. That'll be from Belle Isle. And then Sunday night, it's the penultimate round of the Dark Horse DW12 Series from Homestead. You going to run in that one, Caleb?
I might. We'll have to see. We'll have to see on that one. That's usually a classic combo, the DW12 at Homestead. That's usually a very good Delara Dash combo. Of course, Dark Horse is a little bit more professional, we'll say, than a Delara Dash series. But that's always a iconic combo on the service is Homestead at DW12 at Homestead.
Yeah, so it's one of those where I think for Dark Horse is very much a professional organization. I had a chance to meet up with Eric Peterson at the Indianapolis 500 as Mark Paget goes underneath Ryan O'Donohue. So second place has now changed hands, and they've got the 69 of Daryl Zucchelli circulating in front of them. Zucchelli has gone a lap down, same as Brian Sharp, Say Lewis Hayes, David Dunwoody, and pit stops have started. Christopher Logan is in, Brian Sharp is in. So drivers are starting to blink here with 50 laps to go. But to finish that, very much a professional organization, is the oldest running DW12 league in the service. And that is a classic combo. You are 100% right, as Ryan O'Donohue loses another spot to Trevor Ryan, and he's going to be under fire from Joshua Zorn. They've been out now 46 laps, and you would think that that drivers are going to want to start hitting pit lane now as soon as possible.
Yeah, they are about halfway into stage number 3 here. So this is where, you kind of see the pit cycle kind of open up. They're not really going to pit for fuel. It's all about tire strategy. They do have to pit for fuel, but it's not very much that they need to. So you're strictly seeing when these guys pit for tires at the moment. We saw the likes of David Dunwoody very early on be the first one to bite on that. And he's currently, he was setting the fastest times of the race. Now that's kind of gone into the likes of Christopher Logan. He's actually right on the rear bumper of David Dunwoody. So Dunwoody's strategy kind of baiting a little bit because he's got, the fresher tire guys right behind him, and they are gaining on him significantly.
Yeah, there's Dunwoody. He's made it to 17th spot now. When all this shakes out, he's going to make up positions on the track. But what Dunwoody needs is for this whole thing to cycle through, and then about 15 laps after that, a caution flag to fly. We think he has another set of tires in the pit box where many of the people around him will not. So he could then come in, put on a fresh set. Nobody else would have him. Go to the front. That's his strategy as he sends it around the Nashville Superspeedway. Crash Neon looking on James Hodgson. And Neon's fallen back just a little bit. He had been near the top 5. He is now all the way back to the 11th spot. Troy Carricker getting around the lap car there. It is so weird for me to see another car run the 69, by the way.
Oh, as you say that 69 machine almost ran into the side of Crash Neon there. Almost took him out, but Crash Neon seems like he is struggling for pace at the moment. It seems like his car is very, very tight on both ends of the speedway here. Tires starting to fall away. He's probably going to have to make a stop for tires soon.
He may. James Hodgson goes the inside of Kendall Paul. And so there goes Hodgson into the 9th spot. Move Kendall Paul back. Well, maybe not. Kendall Paul is going to come on the pit lane. He exits immediately from turn 4. Does not use the warm-up lane. Back to the DW12 thing. I very much like racing that car. It's in certain areas because of the aero package, it's a little bit more capable than the current car. But the nice thing about it is the tools on that thing are locked, so you don't have to worry about weight jacker. You don't have to worry about anti-roll bars. There's no fuel mapping in that car. You just get in it and go for it, Caleb.
Yeah, that's one of the things that are kind of nice. It is a bit of an understeery machine, though, but it does feel like it is a driver's car whenever I have to drive that thing. And I got to kind of dial back a little bit and just kind of, just keep in the back of my mind that tire wear does actually exist on this thing.
Oh, it does, and Homestead is going to wear them out, too. Homestead is not friendly to tires in an open wheel car. We're watching Trevor Ryan be chased by Joshua Zorn. Sam Crow has now hit pit road, so is Troy Carricker, because this is going to be the battle for the final spot on the podium as the leaders continue to circulate. Now, here's the thing. They are 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds ahead of on the track the cars are pitting, so they can afford to stay out longer. Mark Paget drops to the pit lane, so he's the first one of the front runners to come, 146. The leaders have been out 54 laps now, Caleb, and these tires are starting to get long in the tooth. Of course, there's only 37 laps left, and look, the longer you can stay out, the bigger your advantage is going to be. Zorn all over the back of Trevor Ryan. Can't make it work going down the back straight into 3. But the longer you stay out, the bigger advantage it is for you for the likes of Evans, Ryan, and Zorn. right? I mean, yeah, those guys are going to bolt on new tires. They're going to be faster. But even if there's, even if there's an 8 or 10 lap delta between them and you on tires, it may not matter because you're still going to be ahead of them when they come out back out on the track. It's not enough to bridge that gap, is what I'm saying.
That could be the case. Trevor Ryan giving up that place. It looks like he is going to be in this time by Trevor Ryan also blinking for a new set of Goodyear rubber. That leaves Joshua Zorn to take that second place spot at the moment. Greg Evans still leads this thing. And my thing is the longer Greg Evans stays out in the lead here, he's obviously going to lose time to the guys that already took tires, but that's just going to allow him to have a fresher set at the end and just basically do as close to qualifying laps as he can the longer he goes into the stint here.
Well, that's what I mean. I think he's got a big enough lead too, Caleb, that even with the undercut, Daryl Zucchelli has acquired a black flag coming to the pit lane. Even if Greg Evans runs as long as possible, I don't think that the undercut would be enough to even catch him, right? He would still be able to pit from here and come back out with the lead, even if he runs an extra 10 or 15 laps. So he's not going to. Evans is going to dive for pit lane this time. 150 of 188 in the books. Greg Evans is going to hit the pit lane, and that'll hand the lead to Joshua Zorn. Zorn will stay out for at least one more. So will Franco Alvarez. So will Crash Neon. And so only the front three have yet to pit. Ryan O'Donoghue is the leader of the cars that have pitted. That will soon flop back to Greg Evans. We'll have to monitor how they come out. But I wonder how long Zorn and Zorn, Alvarez, and Neon are going to do this. Are they going to do the thing where they're saying, okay, I've made my bed, I'm going to run it until she runs dry, which would really only be about 10 laps from the end.
Yeah, it would indeed. And that's a strategy call that you often see a lot of drivers. They'll run their tanks completely to the end here just to, if there's a chance that even if a caution does come out, well, they'll not only have track position, but they'll also have the tire advantage as well. But at the moment, you look at Greg Evans, he is on the back of Franco Alvarez at the moment. He is the freshest one at the tires on the strategy. Ryan O'Donoghue, Sam Crow, Mark Paget are in front at the moment, but they are at a tire deficit with just over 30 laps to go here.
They are. Ryan O'Donoghue races around Joshua Zorn, and that's critical for O'Donoghue because that would put him back on the lead lap. Also critical here is Greg Evans lost a little bit more than I thought he would. Evans is now 7th. He's fallen behind Mark Paget and Sam Crow, but he does have much fresher rubber on that number 2 machine as Zorn, Alvarez, and Neon continue to circulate. They are right ahead of the Paget, Crow, and Evans trio. Here comes Mark Paget. He's going to make his way around Joshua Zorn, and Zorn continues to roll around here. 155 of 188 goes on the board, and the question is, let's hop on board Joshua Zorn. I just, for my own edification, is he trying to save this?
It wouldn't be an insane idea. He's still 30 seconds up from everybody else on that has pitted, so he has a massive buffer if he wants to try to save it if it's possible.
There goes Greg Evans. You see him. He is way off the throttle, Caleb, and he is not rolling back in any kind of hurry. He's not shutting the car off, but Joshua Zorn doing just about everything he can to save every drop possible, and it's not going to work. Here he comes to the pit lane. So Zorn going to make a stop. That will put Franco Alvarez into the lead, and here's Alvarez, and we're going to do the same thing for Franco Alvarez. 64 laps completed on this run for Alvarez.
Yeah, Alvarez also trying to make the long run work. He's more known as a short run guy, so maybe this will benefit him at the end of the race, just kind of staying out as long as possible and take a short splash at the end. A new set of Goodyear rubber. He likes the short stints. We've seen him do it earlier in the race where he jumped out into the lead and kind of fell back as the stint went on. So he's trying to make this set of tires last as long as possible. That way he could do as close to qualifying laps as he can at the end of this thing.
It is. Franco Alvarez does not seem to be overtly saving fuel, at least. But he's going to continue to run, continue to see if he can't stretch it and get the golden horseshoe caution flag. 158 complete working lap, 159 here at Nashville. And Caleb, at this point, I think you've made your bed. If you're Alvarez and Neon, you're going to have to kind of lie in it now.
Yeah, you're pretty much committed to this strategy here. You're basically, it's, in my opinion, too late to try to pit for tires and try to gain all that time back as possible. You're basically just banking on a caution, or if you're somehow good on fuel, hopefully that you have enough pace to stay out in front here. So that's what you're seeing from Franco Alvarez. That's what you're seeing from Crash Neon. They probably will have to come for a set of tires or at least fuel at the most. But whether or not this strategy works, it's probably going towards the likes of Greg Evans and Ryan O'Donohue at the moment. And Franco Alvarez blinks.
Yep, Franco Alvarez is going to come to the pit lane. He does so with 29 laps to go, and that'll bring us to the last of the holdouts, Crash Neon. Neon did the same thing at Dover. It won him the race. So, Neon, he's done this before. It's his strategy. He is running around 32.521 is Crash Neon. He's got about 12 seconds to Mark Paget, and I don't know. Well, he's coming in the pit lane this time. I was going to say I didn't know if that car was under power as it went through turn 3, but Crash Neon is going to make the stop, and that's going to hand the lead to the 22 of Mark Paget, and he's got Greg Evans, Ryan O'Donohue, and, well, he's got Greg Evans and Ryan O'Donohue right with him. Paget, 15 laps on tires. Evans, 11. O'Donohue, 17. Sam Crow in the background on 16. It did not work out for David Dunwoody. He's gone back a lap down. His tires are now fried, and it's going to be a battle between Evans and Paget, and Evans has already gotten around for the lead.
Greg Evans able to make that slight overcut strategy work to his favor. He had a massive lead. He knew he had a buffer to sacrifice a little bit of time, staying out a little bit longer than everybody else. That way he can have the freshest tires at the end here to just basically just kind of set himself off in the distance and not worry about having the tire save to the end of this thing.
Yeah, and what a difference that 4 laps makes for Greg Evans, because he pulled right up on the back of Mark Paget. He's 0.2 of a second a lap quicker. He pulled right up on the back, and it wasn't much of a fight. The good is still in the tires for Greg Evans, not so much for Mark Paget. Around he went, and that may be all she wrote.
It could be here, Murph. I'm still watching what the guys that stayed out really, really long did. Joshua Zorn, he did a 30.9 last time around. That's 0.8 quicker than Greg Evans. If he's able to keep that 0.8 faster gap, he will close that down, but It's a little bit too late. He's got 23-ish laps to try to close that 12-second gap.
Yeah, he does, but that's a big gap, 12 seconds. Right now, just looking at Greg Evans and seeing if Mark Paget has anything for him. You see the car crash Neon. Neon did come back out on the lead lap, and here's Crash, but he's nearly a full lap down. But he's got by far the freshest tires, and we'll keep an eye on both Neon and Franco Alvarez. Alvarez 13th, Neon 16th, and see how far they can make their way up the field here. It has been, Caleb, a relatively incident-free race as we come back to get lap 168. 21 laps to go. It's been a relatively incident-free race. Just the one non-stage caution. This track lends itself very well to long green flag runs, and that's what we've seen. Can Greg Evans hold on? I think he can. He's ever so slightly pulling away from Mark Paget lap over lap.
Yes, he is indeed. I'm still watching Joshua Zorn. He gets around Mike Rigney in 1 and 2. He's made that gap about 10 seconds. He's closed 2 seconds within the last 5 laps. And it's still a little bit too far away for my liking here. He's going to still probably need a caution to try to get back in the lead here. But he definitely is in the running to get a top 5 when this thing is all said and done.
Yes, they are. You see Greg Evans move past the 69 of Daryl Zucchelli. That'll put him 4 laps down. And really, it's down to how they catch traffic and whether or not Mark Paget has enough life left in his tires to be able to mount a run. Franco Alvarez has moved to 12th now. Crash Neon to 15th. Neon has 6 seconds to get to Christopher Logan, though. He is catching him rather rapidly, so we continue to monitor the progress of Neon and Alvarez. No other position on the track really in dispute other than those two climbing. Other than those two climbing, let's have a look at Franco Alvarez. He gets by John Houchins, and watch how much quicker he is than Troy Carricker. There's a 15-lap tire differential, and Alvarez should be able to just very quickly drive around Carricker and put himself back in the top 10 here.
Yeah, he looks along the inside, not able to get a run down the front straightaway. We'll see if he's able to make a move going to 1 and 2. He looks up the inside, able to get a fender alongside Troy Carricker. And just on the exit, he's able to just get the power down so much earlier and able to clear him before they even get to the exit of 2.
Yes, they are. So Franco Alvarez continues his march forward. Meanwhile, Sam Crow has gotten around Trevor Ryan, so moved Sam Crow into the 4th spot. Crow has a lot of work to do, though, to catch this man, Ryan O'Donohue. O'Donohue is 1.1 seconds up the road from Sam Crow. And right now, it continues to be all Greg Evans. Evans, 173 of 188 complete. He's got a 1-second lead over Mark Paget. He's about 3 seconds ahead of Ryan O'Donohue. He may be completely unchallenged. Trevor Ryan trying to get back at Sam Crow here. Ryan with slightly fresher tires. These two have done battle before, Caleb. They're fixing to go after it again with 15 laps to go this time through.
Yes, they are. Trevor gets a fender, looks up the inside. Sam Crow going through 1 and 2. Sam Crow still able to make the outside line work, at least through the middle of the corner, but Trevor has a better run on the inside. He slots himself back into that 4th place position and now sets his sights on the likes of Ryan O'Donohue.
Yes, he does. So move Trevor Ryan up into that 4th spot, but he's got some work to do. He's about a second behind Ryan O'Donohue. He's got 15 laps to see if he can't make that, or 14 laps, excuse me, to see if he can't make that happen. And you're going to see it all right here on P1. Do thank everybody who's hung around with us. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel. There's the difference from the top of Trevor Ryan as he tries to hunt down Ryan O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue this time through, he'll trip the stopwatch at 32.219. Trevor Ryan 32.035. So Trevor Ryan is faster. He's got the pace to run third in this race. Catching him is going to be one thing though, Caleb. As you know, passing him is definitely another, but Trevor Ryan is coming.
He is indeed, and not only that, he's bringing Sam Crow along with him. Sam Crow also did a 32.0 last time around, so they were both about 0.2 quicker than Ryan O'Donoghue in front. This time around, it is the same situation. In fact, Sam Crow and Trevor Ryan did a lap time within a thousandth of each other. 32.091 was the lap time between the two, and they are both still 0.2 quicker than Ryan O'Donoghue in front. This is about to be a 3-car battle for the final step on the podium here.
It is. Watching Trevor Ryan as he continues to close the gap on Ryan O'Donoghue. It's down to 0.6 of a second. This time through, O'Donoghue 32.268, Trevor Ryan 32.206. So it's not what it once was. Trevor Ryan starting to run in to the dirty air behind Ryan O'Donoghue. That's going to affect him as he closes the gap. O'Donoghue, though, he's got a problem in front of him, and that's the lap car of Brian Sharp. And so, Sharp's not doing anything wrong. He's simply existing where Ryan O'Donoghue would love to have clean air on the nose, and Trevor Ryan pulls in another 0.2 of a second that time through.
Yes, he does indeed. That's just going to hurt Ryan O'Donoghue a little bit more having dirty air. And that's we actually haven't talked about that in the entirety of these race. This track you do feel the dirty air in these big bulky stock cars. It is a very high-speed track, and you feel the dirty air, especially with how the concrete surface is. So Ryan O'Donoghue is not, he's not liking the fact that he has a lap car in front. The lap car's not doing anything wrong. He's just feeling the effects of the dirty air in front of him. And now Trevor Ryan has kind of bridged that gap a little bit to the cars around him. It's about equal between him and Sam Crow and Ryan O'Donoghue at the moment. He's still faster than O'Donoghue. That time around it was only a 10th, and Sam Crow was actually slower than the front two. So we'll see if once they start fighting, this becomes very quickly a 3-car way battle. And also keep in mind, look at where Joshua Zorn is. He's only a 1.5 seconds back from Sam Crow at the moment. This could be a 4-car battle for the podium here when it's in a couple laps' time.
Yeah, it could. And Joshua Zorn, he was one of the longest runners in that last stint. He's got 10 to 12 lap fresher tires than the cars he's chasing. Brian Sharp will pull out of the way. He'll let O'Donoghue through. He will let Trevor Ryan through, and I would assume he will also pull over and let Sam Crow come past. As we get 7 laps to go here at Nashville, this is fixing to get pretty interesting because Joshua Zorn, we talked about Trevor Ryan being a couple of tenths faster than O'Donoghue. Zorn is a couple of tenths a lap quicker than both of these cars, than all 3 of these cars.
Yes, he is indeed. Again, like we said and what we saw, he stayed out longer than everybody else, trying to gain as much time as it back on this short run to the end here. And he's going to have to, it's a little bit too farther back. He's within the second of Sam Crow. He's right on the bumper of the lap car in front. He's still got to get around that. But he's going to have to try and bank that. Trevor Ryan and Ryan O'Donoghue will battle for the podium position here before it's all said and done. Trevor Ryan looks to the inside of Ryan O'Donoghue. He has a fender there, but Ryan O'Donoghue is going to have the run on the high side. But Trevor Ryan gets a really good run off the corner to go side by side down the front stretch.
They're going to door slam a little bit, coming across the start-finish line. Ryan O'Donoghue holds the outside, door handle to door handle into turn number 1. Trevor Ryan gets through. O'Donoghue is going to slot back into 4th spot, and he's going to try to get the run off the corner to Trevor Ryan. O'Donoghue back to the inside.
O'Donoghue looks to the inside, turn number 3. He sends it on the inside. Trevor Ryan on the high side. He's got the momentum, though. Sam Crow lurks just behind them. Trevor Ryan's got the run on the high side, able to clear Ryan O'Donoghue, going on to the front stretch into turn number 1. Does Sam Crow have anything for his teammate there?
I don't know if he does or not. He's definitely there. Ryan O'Donoghue trying to work on Trevor Ryan, and Joshua Zorn has now entered the chat. Joshua Zorn is 0.2 of a second behind Sam Crow. Zorn is coming. Again, he chopped a couple of tenths out of the cars in front of him that last time through. Can Joshua Zorn make some moves here? We've got 3 laps to go, about 4 miles here at Nashville.
4 miles to decide who gets the battle of this final podium place here. These guys, it's going to be a little bit of a war. Does Ryan O'Donoghue have anything left in those tires to try to get back around Trevor Ryan? He's dropped a little bit going onto the back straightaway. Sam Crow is on the rear bumper of his teammate now. Does Joshua Zorn have anything for the podium places here? He hasn't made a move yet, but Sam Crow has a run on Ryan O'Donoghue going down the front stretch, but Ryan O'Donoghue defends the inside, chops the nose off Sam Crow.
2 laps to go, and O'Donoghue did that because he had a tremendous run down the inside of Trevor Ryan, and all that's doing is letting Joshua Zorn now get all over the back of Sam Crow. Zorn is going to have a shot here to make up a couple of spots. If he can swing that car to the outside, he doesn't do it through turns 3 and 4. White flag is in the air for Greg Evans, and we are at the final lap. We're watching the battle between 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Contact between O'Donoghue and Green. Everybody saves it. They all got away with that. Joshua Zorn gets past O'Donoghue, and now Zorn is going to try to come past Sam Crow as they come back to the line. Greg Evans is going to win the race. That's not up for dispute. Padgett's going to be second. Here comes the battle for 4th and 5th. Joshua Zorn's going to get it by a nose over Sam Crow. It might not have been the biggest barn burner for the win, but that battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th is about as good as you're going to see, Caleb.
Well, that was a very, very intense battle for the podium spot there, Murphy. Different tire strategies. I thought Zorn right there at the end was probably going to get Trevor Ryan, but he couldn't make a move soon enough on Sam Crow and Ryan O'Donoghue to get close enough there, but what a battle for the final step on the podium.
What a battle for the final step of the podium. You're exactly right. And we are focused on Greg Evans for your Rogue Energy winning moment. If you go to rogueenergy.com, use promo code AMA24, you get 10% off your order. That's rogueenergy.com, promo code AMA24. And Greg Evans, he'll stop at the start-finish line, adjust the brake bias, and really don't think he's going to be able to quite do the full donuts. He's just going to burn him down in a straight line here, Caleb.
Old classic number 11s there from Greg Evans to celebrate his win here. I believe that's his 6th win on the season here. He goes back-to-back. He won Charlotte last week. So Greg Evans, he's on top of the points table, and he comes away with back-to-back wins here in Nashville.
Yes, he does. He'll win it over Mark Padgett in second. Trevor Ryan will bring it home with the final step on the podium. Joshua Zorn, he went from 6th to 4th in the final 2 laps. He'll be credited with that 4th spot. Sam Crow 5th. Ryan O'Donoghue 6th. Franco Alvarez, he had a storming drive to get back into 7th spot. Kendall Paul, another excellent recovery. He'll be credited with 8th. 9th is going to be James Hodgson, and rounding out your top 10, how about Mike Rigney? That's he had a very quiet day, started in the back. Mike Rigney comes home in 10th. In 11th, it's going to be Troy Carricker, crashed Neon 12th after he ran long. John Houchins 13th. Those are the 13 cars that finish on the lead lap. Christopher Logan 1 lap down, so too say Hey Lewis Hayes in 15th, Brian Sharp 16th. David Dunwoody short pitted everybody. He brings it home 17th. Donald Green 18th, 2 laps down. Randy Dunlap 19th. Daryl Zucchelli 4 laps down in 20th. The following cars out of the race: Vance Fisher 21st, followed by Barry Seaman, Ted Craven, Ryan DiMolini, and Eric Corder will be credited with 25th here at Nashville. And there's the car for Trevor Ryan, and there is
race 4 or 5.
There is Trevor Ryan. Trevor, you've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys. How's it going?
I'll tell you what, it's going. You had your share of fun. You were up in the front the entire for the entire run. What did you need to get? Paget and Greg Evans there?
I didn't really have, especially for Greg, man. He had something the whole race that I just never was able to get to him, and every time I got close, he was able to just drive away from me on the long run. And Mark and I have raced in a different league, and he's great on the long run as well. I think it was the long run that I was struggling with tonight.
Indeed. Even for long run pace, if you were struggling for that, you finished third in a race that only had one non-stage caution, and that was backed up right against the stage. So that's a pretty good night. Caleb, what do you have for our third place finisher?
Well, we kind of noticed throughout the night there was really only one line, and that was the bottom. We did see overtakes around the outside there, but do you think with that, how this Grand National car handles, do you think overtakes around the outside, without difference of tire strategies, we saw you were able to defend O'Donohue there at the end, but you had slightly better tires than he did. So do you think, the racing here on the outside, do you think that was ever possible, or do you think it was basically you just had a defense side and you basically had the position?
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for the little bit of tire advantage I had on O'Donohue there, I don't think that outside defending would have worked. Just the nature of the concrete track and then the low downforce that the Grand National car has. It's really difficult here because there's not a ton of banking, and as you try to throttle up on the exit either end, when you're on the outside, you just push so hard to the wall. It's really difficult to defend. It was almost battling for the bottom the entire night long.
Well, battle for the bottom you did. You battled it all the way to the third spot, and with that, you finish on the podium, and you finish on the podium at P1. You get the mic. Friends, family, sponsors. Shout them out, my man.
I'd just like to take a minute to thank everybody in this league. This is a great place to come run full-length O'Reilly Series races. I want to thank the two of you for putting on this broadcast every single week. I know it's a huge commitment, but it's always awesome to go back and watch the race again the next day or during the week. And I just want to say thank you to Lauren for letting me come down here every Thursday and do my little NASCAR thing.
There you go, Trevor. Got to thank my wife too. Miss Natalie puts up with a lot, so definitely thank her. Thank you for stopping in. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Hey, thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That is Trevor Ryan. He finishes in the third spot. For second place, we will go to another Mark Paget. Mr. Paget, you've got Mr. Murphy and Mr. Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. You hear us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
So I'll ask you the same question. What did you need? Well, same kind of a question. You got past Greg Evans on the pit stop cycle. What did you need to stay ahead of him?
A little fresher tires. So I think I was watching Greg, Trevor, Ryan, all the cars up in the top 5. I pitted pretty early. I think Greg came 5 laps after me to the pit road. So then that was the difference. He just had 5 lap newer tires, and he was faster from when he pitted to the end.
Indeed. Caleb, what do you have for Mr. Mark Paget this evening?
Well, that gap did separate a little bit, but you did finish the race only 0.6 behind, so you did gain a lot of time there towards the end of the stint. You're running about 1 to 2 tenths faster than Greg. So, do you think, even despite saying that, do you think maybe if you had another 5-10 laps that you could have gotten them, or do you think he was just playing possum at the moment?
Yeah, I think he was saving some tire in case there was a late race restart. Because I know Josh Zorn came in maybe 10 or 15 laps after us, so he had the freshest tires on the track. But yeah, I mean, he got up to about a second and a half lead in front of me. Then it maintained there for a little bit. He got held up maybe with 5 to go by a few lap cars, and then once he got by them, I think he was just saving tire.
Well, there you go. For the record, Zorn was 10 laps fresher than you.
Yeah, there we go.
So he had 31 laps on his tires at the end. You had 41. Evans had 37. Trevor Ryan 39. Sam Crow 42. O'Donohue 43. Franco Alvarez, he and Crash Neon stayed out the longest, and they were rockets at the end, but it wasn't enough to make up for all the lost time from running long. So, with that said, we thank you so much for stopping in. The tradition here at P1, you get on the podium, you get the mic. Friends, family, sponsors, shout them out.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to. I mean, this has been a great league. I think it's probably 6 or 7 races for me now. It's been a blast. I mean, you guys do a good job with the broadcast. I think everyone does a good job running the league. The last few races, I've been caught up in some stuff. Maybe the people being a little too racy, but no, I'm loving it so far. And yeah, everyone on the track's been great to work with and race with.
Absolutely. Well, Mark, thank you so much for stopping by. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
You're more than welcome. That's Mark Paget. He will finish in the second spot today. And for tonight's winner, we're going to go to a very familiar face in the P1 booth. That's Greg Evans. Greg, it's you-know-who times 2 in the booth. One more time. Is this 6 wins on the season now for you?
Honestly, I don't keep count, but I think we got 6. I believe so. So, been a pretty good year so far.
Gonna have to paint another checkered flag up on the roof of that thing. Talk to us about your day. You came out behind Paget. You came out behind O'Donohue on that last run after the pit stop. Talk to us about what you were thinking when you came out. And you've been leading, had a big lead, built a big lead. Now all of a sudden you're third. What goes through your mind right there? You're trying to get back as quickly as you can, or do you know you have the advantage and it's just about patience?
Yeah, I knew we had the advantage. Probably about like 7, 8 laps on tires. I can't remember what it was. I really wanted to stay out longer and kind of do what Zorn did there, but I was just afraid that I would burn the tires up getting back to him and not have enough to get by him. So I didn't want to drag it out too long. But yeah, I just tried to methodically kind of get back to him without really using my tires up. And then once I was able to get in front of Mark there, I tried to just kind of pace myself because I knew Zorn would be coming, and you just never know if a caution is going to come out. So I tried to keep about a 1.5 second, 2 second lead somewhere around there, and just kind of ride it out and save what I could just in case.
There you go. You saved enough because you made it look easy when you went by Paget for the lead. For the serious and hard-hitting questions, I will turn you over to my esteemed colleague, Mr. Caleb Brashear. Caleb, take it away.
Well, there's only one issue, is that you've been on the top set of a podium so many times. I've actually trying to think of one off the top of my head at the moment.
I've got one. I've
not already asked him. This is a problem here, Murph.
I've got one for him. Greg, what is your favorite card game? What do you play when you've got 3 buddies around a table and a deck of 52?
I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big card player. I haven't played cards in probably 20 years, 15 years. But whenever I did, we just played like blackjack. We played a little Texas Hold'em occasionally, but heck yeah, it's been a long time since I played cards.
There you go. If you come to Chicago, maybe we'll teach you how to play the Midwestern staple of euchre.
I honestly have never heard of that, so that might be something interesting.
It's kind of like you ever played spades?
I have, yeah.
So kind of a similar theme to spades, except you play it with half a pinochle deck.
Okay, I think I'm.
And trumps are called rather than always spades, and there's a couple of different rules, but if you can play spades, you can get the hang of euchre pretty easily. We used to play that for toothpicks in high school.
I'm gonna see. I might get go get a card deck and see if my little girl wants to play 52 card pickup. I'm sure she'll be all into it until I do it and she realizes what I did to walk away.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, Greg, for stopping by and playing along. Friends, family, sponsors, shout them out, buddy. You know the drill.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys again for broadcasting for us. Like I said, it's always fun to go back and watch these things and kind of learn. And that's actually what I did today. I went back and watched the Nashville race from last year to try to pick up on a few things to do different.
So hopefully you listen to Sam's advice and not mine. Is the trick there? If you watch last year,
yeah, broadcast. It was a different race last year. I started in the back and came to the front, and I figured with the aero package this year or what we got right now, I definitely did not want to do that again. It was so hard to pass out there. It was basically a single lane racetrack, but yeah, it was difficult tonight. But like I said, got to thank Sim Magic, Simshop, Sim Lab, Freightliner. Thank all my guys from DVD Motorsports, continuing to keep JV, John Van Varelis, in our thoughts and prayers, and his brother Charles, and the Bush family as well. I know it's tough losing a loved one, and man, it's just feel for the kids, but just continue to keep them in your prayers, and just glad to get another win tonight.
100%. Well, thank you so much, Greg, for stopping in and stopping by. Thank you so much, my man. Keep going fast, having fun. We'll see you next time.
All right, see you guys. Have a good week.
Will do. That's Greg Evans. He is tonight's winner. And Caleb, the more things change, the more things seem to stay the same. Greg Evans walks away with another one, and another one in dominant fashion.
Yeah, he's won 6 races. He came off. He's on back-to-backs currently with Charlotte last week, Nashville this week, and he just is very consistent across the board. He's one of the most consistent drivers we've ever seen here in the AMA. And that obviously shows with how his championship points are at the moment. He was at the top of the board for his race start. He's still at the top of the board with the win here tonight. So it's basically the rest of the season is who can try to dethrone Greg from winning this entire thing when the season's all wrapped up.
Yeah, I mean, is it going to be Kendall Paul? Is it going to be teammate Ryan O'Donoghue? Is it going to be somebody else? Remember, we've got a chase format here, so it's really something that when you get down in those final races, anybody's going to have a shot at it, and we look forward to seeing who's going to pick up their game and challenge Greg. Speaking of challenges, tomorrow night we're going to be right back here for the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start on P1 Saturday. It's the 2026 IndyCar iRacing Series presented by 4D Racewear, 2:00 p.m. from Belle Isle on Saturday. Sunday night, it's the Dark Horse CW12 Series presented by 4D Racewear at 8 o'clock. I will be in that race. Hopefully Caleb will join in too. That's the penultimate round. 2 more to go. Season 9 of Dark Horse. You don't want to miss that. 8 o'clock. Monday night, it's Championship Monday. The IndyCar Series Monday night top split goes from Gateway at 8, followed by the Indy Next Road Series Monday night top split from Brands Hatch at 10. Tuesday, it is a triple header, and the final triple header before the summer break gets underway. The IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split, 8:15 from Auto Club. They're going to be followed by the Indy Next Oval Series Tuesday night top split from Gateway at 9:30, and then the finale, Area 51 After Dark, 9:30 p.m. from Gateway as well. No race on Wednesday. Thursday, or excuse me, yes, no race Wednesday. Thursday, we have the 2026 Elite Racing League Indy Lights Series, races 3 and 4. That's going to be from Belle Isle. Those will start at 7:45. And that brings us right back to the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series from Michigan, 8:20 on Friday. Pre-race 8:35 start. The Grand National Series is off next week. We do want to thank all of the drivers for the tremendous show tonight. It's a difficult track to race on, a difficult track to pass, but there was some good racing throughout. Want to thank all the fans in the stands. Definitely appreciate the chat. Keep the chats, the interactions, keep those coming. But we also, Caleb, want to thank the people who really make it possible. The military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs driving the ambulance, and the nurse that unloads you when you get there. Special shout out to my nurse wife, Natalie. Thank you so much for letting us do this. Keep going fast and having fun, everybody. We will see you tomorrow night.